to the next video in our JKA Massey Instructors course. As you probably saw from that introduction, the first thing I said was us. And so this is a very basic term, and this is the one that I'd like to explain next. Now, us is a word that's used in many situations. First, we'll just put down the kanjis for this one. So the first kanji goes like this. And alongside that one, we have this. Now this kanji here actually comes out as o, so it's rather short. And this one is a suffix that adds to o, which gives the s sound. Now, what does this mean? This one here means to push. And the second one comes from a word called shinobu, so that's where the S comes from. And shinobu means to endure. When we add the two together, os, and we put an S in the middle, we get os shinobu equals os. Now this term originates from the Japanese Navy. As you probably know, Marines have a pretty hardcore training sequence, and sometimes they have to push through this hardship and endure the training. So the concept of the word comes from that harsh training regime that you get from sailors and Marines. Now, since then it's been expanded into general use in Japan, so a lot of people use the word, even just general friends might use the word to greet each other. When we come to the dojo, it's a little bit more expanded, because when we come into the dojo, for example, the first thing you've got to probably appreciate here is the culture, or the cultural way in which Japanese people approach life. It's a little bit different to our Western concept. So when you first go to Japan and you live there for a while, you've got to adapt yourself to the way the Japanese act and the way they think. So, for example, a person could come into the dojo and they just bow and say us. Didn't say anything particularly to anyone, they're just bowing in respect as a cultural activity for entering the dojo and the fact that they're going to be using the dojo. When they first see someone, doesn't matter who they are, they would say us, perhaps by name, and also if they see the sensei, they will probably say us sensei, because this is an established practice. Also, when the sensei is teaching, he might ask, or a student might ask a question. If the student is going to ask the question, he will say, "Oh, sensei," and that means, "Excuse me, could I ask you a question, please?" And then the sensei will give them attention, and then they ask their question, how do you do this or something. The sensei explains it, and after it's been explained, in answer to the question, to let the sensei know that he's been heard and that he's been understood, the student will also go, us, which kind of means thank you very much. So this word has a multitude of different meanings. It's not just one word. You have to really understand the culture of Japan and put it in practice. Anytime you meet someone as a greeting, a fellow student, teacher, you can also say this word. So it has a multitude of uses. It's kind of like we often say it's the word of words. But the primary use in the dojo would perhaps be to let the student know, or the teacher know, sorry, that he's been heard and understood. So that's the simple definition for us. That's this simple lesson for today. Thank you very much, and us!